Hi everybody, this is Michael Hildebrand and I'm your host on the Sleeptrust podcast, where I'm talking about how to gain back trust in your ability to have a superb sleep again.
In this week's episode of the Sleeptrust podcast, we are going to talk about sleeping tablets, and this one is for you if you're thinking about taking sleeping tablets to get rid of your sleeping problems, or if you are already taking sleeping tablets and are thinking about changing this. Then in this week's episode, I'm just going to let you know what my opinion, my experience is all around sleeping tablets. And of course, my experience is not only based on what I experience with my clients, but also around the books, the information that I gather, read, and find to be valuable for you when it comes to making a smart decision. I'm going to give you a little spoiler alert right away. I'm not the biggest fan of sleeping tablets. That said, there is one thing that I really love about them. There is a small fraction of people out there that have certain sleep diseases where it's a real relief. And I think they can or might also be helpful if you experience trauma in the short term. So now I'm going to walk you through the reasons why I recommend that you consider other solutions before you reach out to sleeping tablets. So the first very straightforward reason is you're fighting the symptoms and not the cause, right? With the sleeping tablet, we're not really looking at the cause of our sleeping problems. So we say, okay, I've got sleeping problems. I've got this pill. It's going to help me to fall asleep. And that's it. The cause is usually what you want to tackle, at least if you want to live a happy, fulfilled life. And this can be an indication for other things that are lying underneath these sleeping problems. The sleeping problem is kind of where it shows up, but the underlying theme could be anxiety, could be worries, could be anger, could be that you're not treating your body right, could be that you're not nurturing your body right. There are a lot of things that could be the cause, and as long as you move on to essentially ignore the signs of your body and fight them through a pill, you're probably not going to move on to figure out what the cause is. And I think you're missing out on an opportunity that will really improve the quality of your life here. So that's point number one. Point number two is that you're not going to get the restorative sleep that you would get if you have natural sleep. Sleeping tablets induce sleep, but the sleep that you get is not equal natural sleep. So the brain waves and everything works a little bit different, leaving us with a higher risk of getting diseases. So we know that if we don't get enough sleep over longer periods of time, that our risk to get type 2 diabetes, cancer, heart attack, strokes, all of this rises. And if we take sleeping tablets, odds are that we are putting ourselves at risk too, because the sleep does not have the same quality. And on top of that, we're talking about a medication. Every medication has a side effect. And this is a medication that works in your brain. So it's playing around with substances in your brain. You want to be aware of that. And, I'm not saying this to freak you out. The medications are tested and everything. So you're not going to die if you take a sleeping tablet right away, something like that. But you should be aware that it's nothing that you want to do in long term. And that brings me to the next point. If you take sleeping tablets, you're kind of moving into a dependency. You make it easier for yourself to fall asleep. You're taking this pill now, and it might work or not work for you, because not everybody who takes sleeping tablets can always fall asleep right away. That's the thing I'm going to come to next. But it certainly helps to induce sleep, and as it makes it easier for you to fall asleep, it's going to be harder for you to move off of that substance at some point. So you can imagine there are people that are sports teams that are preparing for sports events, for competitions, and they do so in training camps. And often they go up on mountains to train in a harsh environment where they've got less oxygen. So when they're in the competition, their bodies experience more oxygen now than they were used to in the training camp, and that's why they peak perform. And we're doing it kind of the other way around if we're taking sleeping tablets, right? We're giving ourselves extra oxygen when we go to bed on a regular basis with that pill, and when we try to get off of it, it's going to be harder. So our competition, our real life, so to say, will get harder, and that's going to bring us into this dependency. So you'll have to think about how to get rid of that medication at some point, and so on. It's possible. It's there are steps you have to take, but it's not going to make your life easier. That's kind of the message here. The last thing I really want to talk about is the value that you're going to get out of the sleeping tablets. So even though sleeping tablets will probably help you to fall asleep faster, on average, I'm not really sure where I got that number, so you'll have to do research. Maybe it was in Matthew Walker's book, Why We Sleep, that you get, on average, people get 26 minutes more sleep taking sleeping tablets. 26 minutes more. Okay, so it's nice to have 26 minutes more, but that means for the one or other taking them, it could be a couple of hours, and others don't get anything at all. So 26 minutes on average is just not a whole lot, right? And if you look at the side effects that you're buying into through the medication, the side effects for your health, because your sleep is not natural sleep now, then you should really think about if that is a smart option for you at the moment. Or if you're already taking them, this might be a motivation to think about, okay, I want to give it a try to get rid of them. Talk to your doctor, ask him or her what she thinks about that. Ask her for advice. If you need a coach, you can reach out to me. Check out sleeptrust.eu, where you'll get tons of information, what you can do, what you should do. I've got a proven 9-step system bringing people from bad sleep, low energy levels back to high energy levels and on the foundation of superb sleep. There are clear steps that you have to take if you want to get there, and it's possible, and it's not going to take you as long as you might think it will. But what it definitely takes, and that's kind of the big difference to sleeping tablets, to taking sleeping tablets, it will definitely take your commitment to change things. This might start with getting into a regular sleep schedule. It might start with doing other things before you go to bed than you used to do right now. Typically, these are all simple things. It's not rocket science. These are simple things. You just have to do them. So you have to get clear on how to implement them. And that's why, looking at my 9 steps, I always start to teach the mindset. You have to get your mindset right. You have to know that we're talking about change. You have to get smart about why you want to change. And you have to know exactly how you implement change to get this working for you, to get the odds working for you. And the rest is going to be simple and also easy, and can be enjoyable, because as soon as you start to think about what you're getting back through changing things, let's just take the TV example. If you're watching TV the last hour before you go to bed right now, there are options out there, and quite a lot of options out there, that will also improve the quality of your life. So if you start reading a book at nighttime, or if you listen to music, if you take your time to talk with your spouse, a friend, if you have a walk, there are a lot of options out there that will really increase the quality of your life as soon as you start doing them. And they're going to improve the quality of your sleep. So this is going to be a win-win, bringing you back to high energy levels on the foundation of superb sleep. And sleeping tablets should, in my opinion, be the last option. But whatever you do, always speak to your doctor, especially if you are already taking sleeping tablets. You don't want to just not take them. You want to talk to your doctor, tell him about your plans or your intention, and then see what your doctor says. And you can always get a second opinion, which is, doctors are humans. We always have to keep that in mind. Doctors are a very special profession that deserve a lot of trust, but That said, never blindly trust somebody just because he or she has got a title. Anybody can get a doctor. You could become a doctor too. If you start to study right now, you're a doctor in a matter of a couple of years. But never take the word of one single person as truth, no matter if they've got a title that is called doctor or not. This is a general rule. There are people that you will trust because you know that they're specialists, you know that they have your best interest in mind, and there are others out there that don't. And this is not a matter of profession, rather it's a matter of what kind of a human being you have in front of yourself. And that might be the most important takeaway of this little podcast here, to share that with you, because I think when it comes to sleeping tablets, there are pros and cons. Everybody has his or her opinions. I tried to lay out why I'm not the biggest friend of this. And especially, I hope that you got the information that you need to maybe come up with a new decision and say, this is what I'm going to try. I'm going to straighten up my life. I'm going to do a couple of things that I know will improve my sleep. I'm going to say yes to change. And I'm committed to increase the quality of my life, the quality of my sleep, and to increase my energy levels. So as always, you've got the choice. We're all free human beings here. You can head over, use your sleeping tablets to fall asleep. And as said, for some of you, it might also be necessary, but I can assure you the vast majority of you will not need these to find back to good high quality sleep, and will actually harm their possibility of having good high quality sleep if they take them. So check out sleeptrust.eu. You can download a free meditation there. I'm going to link that up to this podcast series, this podcast episode. And meditation can be a good way to wind down before you go to bed. So you can listen to this meditation an hour before you go to bed. You can listen to this meditation when you're lying in bed. It's going to work either way, and it's going to get you started. It's one that I did especially for you, and that you can download for free right now. So check it out at sleeptrust.eu. You'll find it in the show notes. And there's also a pop-up coming on the homepage every once in a while where you can kind of download this free meditation. And maybe this is a start for you to do your own research. There are other people that are sharing meditations that might be more aligned with what you want to listen to. You can do meditations on your own. I've got a couple of podcasts about breath work, how powerful that can be. So there are a couple of those out there. Just check it out. Start to play around and see what's enjoyable, what's helpful for you. And that way, I'm sure you will find back to superb, deep resting sleep faster than you might think possible right now. And with that, let's wrap up this week's episode of the Sleep Trust podcast. There are certain circumstances where sleeping tablets can help people to fall asleep quickly or even give them the sleep that they need. In the vast majority of cases, there are better options like cognitive-based training to get you to perform actions that will leave you with a deep, healthy, natural sleep. And this quite frequently takes less time than you might think at the moment. And also don't forget to check out sleeptrust.eu, where you can download a free 15-minute meditation that will help you to wind down in the evening at nighttime, or even to help you to fall asleep faster. And that's it for this week's episode of the Sleep Trust podcast. I hope you enjoyed yourself and that you tune in next week when we are going to talk about how to structure your morning to get into those high energy levels and to spend your energy wisely over the course of the day. Until then, have a superb sleep.
Hey there, and thanks for listening to the Sleep Trust podcast. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you want to get further information on this podcast or material that will help you to gain back your sleep trust, please check out sleeptrust.eu. That's sleeptrust.eu, where you will get lots of information around sleep. And here comes some legal stuff. Everything on this podcast is my opinion only, so do not take it as an advice, as I am not a doctor, nor have I considered your personal situation. If you feel that you need medical advice, please consider getting an appointment at your doctor of trust. If you want to give me any kind of feedback on this podcast, feel free to email me at podcast@sleeptrust.eu. I hope you tune in again next week, and until then, have a good sleep.